Right then, United are in a real bizarre situation at the moment. We're about to head off and embark on our pre-season tour, and we've made one signing to the squad, and we've seen a whole host of players depart, and we're looking at our superstar player in Cristiano Ronaldo also wanting to go and not joining on tour. But in spite of this, it's still possible to make some sensible predictions on what the starting 11 is going to look like next season. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about what I think the starting 11, best case starting 11 will be. Some of those tactics which we've covered previously and why they pertain to the starting 11, and obviously some of the transfers which are going to make some of these selections happen. So let's get into it then. So here's what I think the side is probably going to start the season looking like. De Gea in net. Not really gone massively out on a limb just on that one, I don't think. But I think it'll be De Gea in net. I think we're going to go with a back four of Dalot, Varane, Martinez, and Malacia. On the Malacia video, I did say I think the season might start with Shaw and it'll take over to be Malacia coming through. But I do think we will see Malacia probably starting a couple of the games on pre-season, literally because he is one of the new signings. So I expect to see Malacia getting out on there as well. I still think we're going to sign De Jong. Unfortunately, I'm not certain on whether or not we sign a number 6. So I think it'll probably be De Jong and then probably McTominay alongside him. Ahead of them both, then, it will be Bruno in the 10 position with Sancho on the right-hand side. I think it'll be Rashford on the left-hand side. And I think we're probably going to end up getting Belotti. So that's starting 11 again. Then De Gea, Dalot, which again I think is something replacing. Varane, Martinez, Malacia, De Jong, McTominay, who again I think needs replacing. Bruno, Sancho, Belotti, and Rashford. And that will be the 4-2-3-1/4-3-3 that we are very much used to seeing from his sides at Ajax. Now, talking about the goalkeeper then, plenty of question marks around De Gea. His ability on the ball, his dealing with crosses in particular, coming off his line. Those are things that I hope Ten Hag is both concerned with and hopefully looking at trying to remedy in De Gea, because I don't think you could completely rule him out and say he's finished. I think there's probably ways to adapt his game and force him to be the goalkeeper we know he could be. I don't think the goalkeeper is a priority position this summer, but I do think there is a decision coming down the pipe at some point that he needs to make. De Gea is a senior player in the squad. He's on a hell of a lot of money, one of the highest paid goalkeepers in the world. He does have some world-class goalkeeping attributes, but he also has some attributes that don't really suit what I think Ten Hag wants from a goalkeeper. So I think this is going to buy De Gea a little bit of time, and hopefully they can try and coach the sort of thing Ten Hag wants into him rather than just going straight to the transfer market to replace him. In defence, last season's defence was probably the major weak point, along with the midfield, which is less than ideal. Players were horrendously underperforming, simply not good enough, and signings were needed, and attitudes needed to be adjusted. And fortunately, we have signed one, and it seems like all the talk is that Martinez is going to be another one that comes through the door ASAP. In the fullback area, I think Malacia is either going to put a lot of pressure on Luke Shaw. I think Tellers will be the one that gets pushed out. But I think Malacia is going to put a lot of pressure on Luke Shaw, and I think he's going to do that by being given minutes. It's very difficult to say right now who's going to play the most games between now and Christmas. I think on the backside of Christmas, I'm very confident it'll be Malacia. But until then, I think it's going to be up in the air who plays the most. On the other side, honestly, Dalot seemingly a better footballer, if not defensively as adept, and I think because of the way Ten Hag wants to play, he'll go with him. The other options could be Laird or Brandon Williams, but I'm getting sniffs that they might be going out on loan, so I'll take that as probably accurate and expect it's probably going to be Dalot with... I wouldn't be surprised to see Wan-Bissaka sold before the end of the window, in all honesty. A centre-half, yeah, you've got Martinez coming in, who I think will also play more than once in the 6. Whether or not he'll be first choice in the 6, I couldn't say. This is where Ten Hag has to weigh up the weaknesses in his squad. Is, say, a Lindelof and Varane defence stronger than a Fred or McTominay alongside De Jong in midfield? Like, pick your poison almost. Which one do you prefer? Do you want to have a stronger backline, bring Martinez into it alongside Varane? Would you rather shore up the weakness in midfield? Okay, allow Lindelof or possibly even Maguire to play at centre half and push Martinez into midfield. I think that's going to be a question mark. And the versatility of Martinez is a real plus for that. Varane, poor season from him last year. Obviously only played half the available games. But I think he put in enough all right performances to make it that he is probably the best defender, centre half at the club. Maguire is the one that was massively underperforming, and Lindelof is above Maguire in my opinion. And Lindelof did not have the greatest of seasons. It was, the Manchester derby especially was a shocker from him. I think you've got options in there. You're not sure how many of them are actually good enough. You've still got Bay, you've still got Jones, laughably. You've also got Bernard and Mengu. Again, I think those guys will end up going out on loan. Varane's the obvious one that's going to start. It's who partners him. Is it Martinez? Is it Lindelof? Or is it potentially... is Maguire going to find his way into the squad yet again? That's something that we're going to have to go and look at, I'm sure. In midfield, as yet, nothing's changed. We've lost loads of players, and De Jong is the never-ending saga. It seems like it's very easy to blame Manchester United at the moment on this because we've seen it time and time again that United are shocking in terms of getting transfers over the line. Yet, I think it's safe to say that it's less to do with us in this instance and probably more to do with the absolute shit show that is Barcelona at the moment. And yes, I have my question marks over him seemingly not wanting to even come. That's a problem. But I think there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. United obviously desperate for him. He drastically improves Manchester United's midfield with genuine world-class ability if he does come. But he ain't over the line yet. And either way, you're partnering with a number 6 that it's probably going to be Fred or McTominay. Fred, if he was pushed forward as an 8, not bad. Not great, but not bad. Certainly not the liability that he is if he's played in the 6. McTominay, I just don't think he's progressive enough. I don't think he's got enough ability on the ball to be able to play in a Ten Hag team. Ahead of them is going to be Bruno. Arguably one of the best players at the club. I think Eriksen's going to be a good backup to Bruno. I think he'll also feature in the 8 against teams that are going to low block you, and you want a little bit of magic in there as well. And it'd just be a good rotation option to have. Loads of games of football. We have seen under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot of the team completely run into the ground by playing the same 11 time and time again. I think having a quality rotation option like an Eriksen, probably play 25 games next year, is very good. But we're desperate for that number 6. And we haven't even signed De Jong just yet. So can't count our chickens on that one. But we are desperate for at least a couple of backups or a couple of signings in midfield. In attack, Ronaldo's gone. It's just all done bar the contracts. I don't know where he's going, but he's going. And he knows he's going and all the rest of it. So I've no doubt he'll go. This is, how it goes down now. So United need to sign another number 9. And I think that's going to be very difficult to see who that's going to be. I think Belotti on a free makes a lot of sense because it's a price to see the Glazers getting behind. There's a ton of other players you can get if you want to spend a little bit of money. Jonathan David would be quite high up on any list that I was putting together. Sancho, I think, is going to be looking to start strong under Ten Hag, and I think he'll probably start on the right-hand side. And I think Marcus Rashford will get a fresh chance off the left-hand side. Hopefully Rashford's able to put that horrendous season of last year behind him. Like I've said numerous times, anyone that plays with a broken back for me gets a second chance, so gets a second crack at a whip. So I hope Marcus comes through it, and I hope he hits the ground running because that solves a lot of problems for us. In the number 9 position, I'd love Charlie McNeil to be given this opportunity, but let's be realistic here. It's just not going to happen. Certainly not this year. He might get the occasional minute off the bench, but he isn't going to be good enough to lead the line for Manchester United just yet. United probably aren't going to invest the 60, 70 million pound needed to get a true great in there. And I think as a free transfer, Belotti would be all right. I think it'd be fine. It'd be a decent addition. You do still have Anthony Martial. Whether or not there's anything left in the tank that's resolvable for anyone remains to be seen. But you do still have him. If Ten Hag can get a tune out of him, he's just saved himself 40, 50 million pound in terms of replacing him. But, you can't call Tony Marshall world class at the moment. I'm not sure you can't call Belotti world class. You can say he's well-rounded and a very good forward, but he's certainly not world class. But he is going to be on a free. And I think he would want to be here if he signs. And I think that's important. But it also shows how far we've fallen. And I'd probably sacrifice a little bit of quality for desire at the moment. So that's what I see the 11 looking like. And I think you'll have some youngsters like James Garner and possibly Garnacho thrust into the mix as well. And like I've mentioned already, Williams or Laird, somebody like that, maybe get an opportunity in the fullback area. But the squad's poor. I like the things I'm hearing about Ten Hag. I like the rules that he's implementing in terms of, if you don't do this, you get dropped, demanding. And I love it. And it's shocking that it's taken 10 years post-Fergie for us to hear those sorts of things in terms of rules. Player power needs breaking at Manchester United. I hope this is the guy to do it. But, it's a poor side, and I still have this air of confidence. I don't know if is it the new season? Is it that new coach smell? I don't know what it is. But, I'm always going to go into a season optimistic. Otherwise, how fucking depressing would everything be? Anyway, that's what I think the starting 11 is going to be and the probable transfers that we get to complete. Let me know yours in the comments. See you in a bit.
Real fan ownership, real fan input, real fan change, real fan power. 50 plus 1, we can go better than that. 100 plus none. Download our app, view the free content, read about the club, that's fine. But if you want more, become a member. To vote, to go behind the scenes, to make an impact, interact with a global community around the world, influencing how we grow, where we play, club ethics and values. The more members we have, the faster we grow. Support the club, run the club, own the club. This is ours and no one will take it away. The future is in all our hands.